Thank you for joining us on WQPH 89.3 FM, Shirley, Fitchburg, Queen of Perpetual Help, and another edition of Local Matters. Now, this week's broadcast is very special, and we are featuring SoulFest organizer Frank Tate. Now, SoulFest is taking place in Greenfield, Massachusetts from August 14th to 17th. SoulFest features approximately 60 bands, and it is for a weekend in Greenfield, Massachusetts from August 14th to 17th. And we discuss with him a wealth of topics, including the concert, and that New England is ranked as one of the loneliest regions in the United States, and how SoulFest builds on community and much more. For more information, visit thesoulfest.com. That's thesoulfest.com. So without further ado, here is SoulFest organizer Frank Tate, and following that, we will feature a song from one of the artists featured at this year's SoulFest. The reason why we wanted to ask you for an interview is because we are excited about SoulFest. We have a show called Local Matters, and you're our local matter. You know, awesome. The SoulFest festival coming up. So, yeah. And I know you've been involved with it for a long, long time.
Well, yeah, back in the beginning, so Dan, the founder, is one of my best friends. He's like my big brother. We've been best buddies for 30 years, and I used to own a record label. So all of my bands used to play it, back in the days. So it was always the highlight of the summer for us. In the summers, bands do festivals the whole time. And then SoulFest was the last one of the year. And so we all looked forward to being there. And, it was just a blast. Dan was such a kind soul. And the people at SoulFest just loved having rock and roll. It was really, really fun. Now I live in Hawaii now. So I don't.
You're in Hawaii now. Good for you.
So that's why I'm so cold right now. Yeah, this is freezing for me. So I've been in Hawaii for 8 years, and your blood really thins when you live there. So,
well, where in Hawaii?
In Kona on the Big Island. So Kona's the dry side. I
visited there. Kona's beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I love it. It's so fun. Bev and I are here, for the summer, and both of us have just been freezing because we've been here, I think, 11 days and had seen the sun twice. So it's been a funny summer.
Yeah, I've heard that June is going to be a little cooler this month. I don't know why. It's going to be a little cooler than normal.
Yeah, I haven't done a Catholic radio interview for quite a while, but one of my favorite shows of all times was when, I don't know if you guys remember when the Pope came to St. Louis, and he did a show for the youth there, and you had to be under 21 to attend the show. And the tour that we were doing, it was DC Talk and the W's and Jennifer Knapp. And so we got to play for the big show in St. Louis. And it was so funny because all the kids, everybody was 21 and under in the arena. Everyone was dancing except there was one section of cardinals, the black robes. So it was only one section of grown-ups, and they were just sitting and everyone else was dancing. So we stopped the whole show and just said, we're not going anymore until the cardinals start dancing. And so they all got up and danced, and we just had a blast. But it was so much fun getting to be on stage with the Pope. Was just such an honor. Really, really loved it.
Now, what year was that? Which Pope?
It's been a while. It was John Paul. Yeah, and he was amazing because his message to the youth was just so beautiful, and I loved it. It was a really humbling experience to get to be there.
Right. So we're going to Rome on a pilgrimage this fall, and we hope to meet the new Pope. We hope to get some
that's so
interview with him.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's so crazy to have an American Pope, but that's wonderful. I mean, it's so interesting. It'll be great to see how that plays out. And I'm curious, when he's at Vatican City, will he do the messages from the window in English, or does he speak Italian also?
He speaks everything.
He's multilingual.
Yeah, because I took my son to Vatican City, and we lucked out and happened to be there when the last Pope was speaking, and it was beautiful. We didn't understand a word he was saying, but it was so fun to be there. So I was curious if the new one was going to be able to speak in Italian. So I hope you guys have so much fun. That'll be a blast.
So please tell me about your experience with SoulFest. I know you said you've been involved with it from the very beginning, and we just want to know more about that.
Well, SoulFest is always an interesting, out of all the Christian festivals, it was the one, because Dan, the founder, had been working on, he worked with a band called U2, which was at the time the biggest band in the world.
Yes.
And so he was used to doing things very artist centric and really taking care of the artist, which so many of the Christian festivals, were run by really wonderful pastors and people that wanted to do a great music festival, but not necessarily by people that had done proper rock and roll. So Dan's whole thing was he treated the artist like gold. And then he wanted the people that came to what he called an inside out soul experience. So he wanted to use the weekend to really ponder, what does a friendship with Christ actually look like? And so it was such a wonderful experience for all of us in the music business because it felt like coming home. And the New England audience, because they didn't get as many shows back then, there weren't a lot of Christian shows that would come up here because it's so much easier to play in the Bible Belt or Florida. It's easier to get bigger audiences. So for the bands, it was a wonderful chance to meet the New England audience, which we all just loved. I was in it as a record label for the first 5 years. And then from then on, just as Dan's buddy, the whole reason that we bought it, Dan had a stroke over COVID.
Yeah,
And so
I read about that.
it really hurt his health. And then because last year they moved it was now the second new site in 2 years and only had about 5 months to pull it off. So the stress level was huge last year. And the night before the festival, he just was in the office and he broke into a white sweat and I thought he was going to pass away. I mean, it really just the toll was too great on him. So I talked to my business partner. I'm like, we got to help him, or he's going to die. And he actually, his heart stopped for 6 seconds. He wears a heart monitor and it stopped for 6 seconds on the night before the festival. And so my business partner, with no due diligence at all, we're just like, okay, we'll buy this if you'll focus on your health. We didn't do any due diligence. We just love him so much. So he agreed to do that. And after the fest, right after the fest, he had to get rushed to get an emergency pacemaker because he was still so stressed from everything. So when we took it over, we thought, okay, it's a new start. What is, what SoulFest was, because when we first started it, that was before smartphones. It was before people were on their screens constantly. And so it was this wonderful get together where people, would talk and make friends. And, so many marriages have come out of SoulFest. It's amazing because, you meet other people of faith and have a great experience. And, so that part was wonderful. So as we were thinking about what should SoulFest be in the 21st century, we realized, I don't know if you guys have been following the whole loneliness epidemic or if you're even aware that that New England is the loneliest part of America. And the Surgeon General did a huge report after COVID on the impact of loneliness, and they're now equating loneliness doing the same damage to your mental health as it's the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Which is mind blowing, and that's not a survey of 100 people. That's the Surgeon General doing a huge report. So when Bev, my business partner, and I, as we've heard about that, we thought that it's so wonderful. If loneliness is the pain point right now, the church is such a brilliant answer, and getting plugged into a great community. Because we also learned. I'm curious if you guys are aware of this, but do you know what the opposite of addiction is? It's yeah.
A joy.
Yeah, most people think it's sobriety, but the opposite of addiction is community. That addiction is that you're anesthetizing yourself from the pain of feeling lonely and unconnected and that nobody cares. So what we're so excited about is now in this, chapter in history, when people are so lonely, they're on their phones scrolling and just getting miserable and stuff, to provide a weekend where we can come together as the New England faith community and just have an absolute blast. We're calling it Friendship Making Fun. So it's not just music this year. We're having tons of activities, tons of games, all these teachings on what does living a great story look like. And really just our goal is that people that come to SoulFest will meet other like-minded people and leave with 4 or 5 new friends, having, seen some amazing shows and heard some great teachings and stuff. But we want it to be a great outreach to the people that, obviously everyone who loves Christian music. We had an incredible lineup and a really fun layout this year and really great speakers. But the idea that if the spiritually curious can show up and that they can, see, wow, why are all these people happy? Why do they have so much joy? Why does this music feel so positive? And then they can, hear about a friendship with Christ and hopefully, be further along in their spiritual journey.
And I was at SoulFest when you had it at Gunstock.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was so
was
fun.
beautiful. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a beautiful experience. You had a lot of activities then too.
Yeah, tons. Yeah, and Gunstock was like one of the draws. I mean that the hard part of that, they actually tore up the contract because they didn't want us to be there anymore. And so that was we still had 4 years left on the contract, and the new general manager just tore it up. And so that was
Why? Why did he do
uh
that?
yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't there. They just didn't want it to be there anymore. And then it didn't give Dan much notice because that was during COVID. And so they had just, kind of pivoted what they were doing. And and then the Moody Institute was going to host it, but then it's in a little tiny town and the town didn't want it to be there. So it had to kind of jump start. It went to Topsfield for 1 year. And then now we found our home in Greenfield. And last year it was the first year, so the layout last year they just didn't have time to do it proper, so it wasn't as beautiful as the fairgrounds actually is. So this year they have a beautiful 7-acre meadow in the back of the property, so that's where we're going to put the main stage. So it's going to feel far more like you're at Central Park, enjoying a show on the green. Then last year felt a little bit more like you were at it was in the grandstands of a horse track. So it felt a little more like carnival like instead of beautiful festival like. So this year we'll have the main stage will be in a huge meadow. We're going to have tons of tents with activities in them. So my goal, because I don't like the rain, I'm not used to the rain like you guys are. So we'll have enough room that if it starts raining, 3,000 people can stay dry and still watch the show. So that'll be a nice addition. But yeah, so we're just super. I mean, the thing that's going to be so fun is we do have to pivot. Gunstock was amazing, and we all miss it for sure. But the thing about Gunstock is people would spread out everywhere. They'd go to the lake, they'd go to the top of the mountain, and so it was fun. You found people connecting with the people they came with, and then making friends at the stage. And so with this, we're trying to make it to where you're going to be able to talk story and meet people the whole weekend. And that, through the dining tents, we're going to have cornhole and volleyball and pickleball and spike ball, all sorts of games that people can play to meet friends and talk story. And then the speaking is going to, we have really good speakers coming in. And then the music will start, the main stage will start a little bit later this year because we want people to be able to have a lot of fun. And if you have to work, you could still get there and see the main stage. It won't start till 3:30 this year. It's traditionally started at 1. So now you could commute and still see all the bands, no problem. So yeah, it should be a blast.
Well, I know that you have a strong Catholic presence. One of your headliners is Matt Maher,
Yeah, yeah,
and he's amazing. Please tell me
yeah,
how you got these headliners. Nicole as well. She's a great
yeah.
headliner too.
Katie, yeah. Well, with Matt, we lucked out. Oh, not lucked out. I mean, it was actually not luck, but he was busy all year. He was supposed to be with the Pope all summer, and then when the transition happened, so he wasn't doing any shows here all summer. But then when the Pope got sick, the booking agent called and said, "Hey, he's freed up." So we're super excited about that because he's actually going to be performing on Friday night and Saturday night.
That's
So
awesome.
normally,
Mhm.
yeah, normally he's just done one show. But what we're going to do is we're going to have he's going to do these wonderful worship sets, from main stage on both nights. So super excited. And then on the Saturday night, I don't you remember we do the candlelight service on Saturday night? It's typically been just somebody from local, but Matt's going to do it this year. So we're really excited about that. He's just such a good soul. I think he's been at 20 of the 27 SoulFest. So it's like family for him. So that'll be
Wonderful.
great. And then Katie Nicole, we're excited because her new album actually comes out at SoulFest. So it's
Good.
debuting on the night that she plays main stage on Friday night.
Now you have great publicity. I mean, I've been reading about you. I know you have a strong Catholic presence as well. You have confessions, you have Ask Me Anything,
Yeah.
and a few other,
Yeah. Ask
a
a
few
priest.
other
Yeah.
daily mass as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna actually move it to a bigger tent this year, so that we can, serve even more people. So we just were talking to Jason, our point person from the diocese, and so we just yesterday we're moving it to the bigger tent and making it so that everybody and I'm so excited about the Ask a Priest, question. I think that'll be so fun because I don't know a lot about
Yeah.
that, but we're very excited about that. And
do you know who the priests are going to be?
I don't. They're from the Springfield
Oh
diocese.
my goodness.
She's very connected.
We're very connected to that diocese.
Oh,
Sister
okay.
Deidre is the
Okay.
sister of
Okay.
the bishop there, Bishop
Okay.
Byrne.
Yeah.
She's coming here in what month?
October.
October.
Oh,
And we're
oh,
going to
that's good.
do a big thing for her. That is
Oh, that's awesome.
unbelievable.
Yeah, so we're excited. I don't know the name at all. We just talked to Jason yesterday, and
Bishop.
so he's going to be putting us in touch with that. But we want to have a huge, to us, we just want everybody to come there and learn and make connections and serve. But the interesting thing about New England right now, not only is it the loneliest place in America according to Barna, but the youth here are so open to spirituality, which is beautiful. Like I'm doing an event on Friday night it'll be 1,000 high school kids at this event that are coming to hear the question is why God? And this is public school kids that are going to be coming out. And it's so exciting to see
Wow.
that they have for that. There'll be a couple of New England Patriots there, that's the big draw. Certainly not me, but a couple of the Patriots are going to be there. And so we're really trying to get a big youth presence there because the hardest part with youth right now, statistically speaking, you become the product of your five closest friends. So if you have a bad friend group, that's kind of gonna limit, that's the people that you meet are, there's a wonderful saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So what we want SoulFest to be is this wonderful magnet for all the people of faith to come together and get to know each other so that you can find an amazing friend group that will help you chase the extraordinary instead of just, do what you know in your neighborhood and stuff. So the room that we just moved the Catholic Mass to, it'll hold 600 people. So it's a giant tent. It's a coffee house tent. So it'll be so fun. And it's right on the main drag. So we're hopeful that people just on the Q&A time that they'll come by and just be able to hear these wonderful messages. And this is interesting. You guys can help me with this because I've learned this. I didn't know this about New England either, that you guys aren't particularly fond of outsiders. And so
Oh
we
no.
learned the hard way. And because, I'm originally from California, but as a Hawaiian, people are saying, well, wait, why is there a Hawaiian in charge of SoulFest now? And so it's been, Dan is still super involved. I mean, I still talk to him every day. It's just that his health doesn't allow for him, to do that. So we want to really learn, what do the churches here need? Like, what do the youth groups need? How can we serve? Like, we're just working on because one of the big issues that we've had is that Greenfield doesn't have a lot of hotels. And so we realized that young people don't have good camping gear. So we just invented what we're calling the SoulFest Hostel, which will basically be a circus tent that will have the pup tents inside of it. But, so we'll buy the pup tents. So you can have a dry place to stay for cheap. If you don't, all you need is a sleeping bag and a pillow, and you can now have a place right on the grounds to stay. So we'll have one for guys and then one for girls with a common area in the middle to have breakfast and stuff. But we're just trying to take away all the issues of, well, there's no, because the hotels, they like double their prices the week of SoulFest. It's really sad.
Mhm.
So now, but people, if you don't have camping gear, you can still come, as long as you have a blanket and a pillow or a sleeping bag, there's a place to crash, which will be fun. So, but any suggestions you guys might have on how we can serve the area better? That's our goal is to get as many people there to have an absolute blast and to hear about a friendship with Christ.
Well, you've thought of a great deal. You've kind of solved many of the problems that a lot of these youth would think of that they
Yeah,
couldn't come. And I know that music is the best kind of therapy. It gets to your heart
That's right.
quicker than any other
yeah,
method.
yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah. So, please tell us a little about how you got all of these artists. I mean, there's 60 artists? Was
No,
that
no,
what I
no,
read
that was,
last year?
yeah, last year there were 63 last year. So, but
63.
We have one band here that's trying to help our small radio station grow, and he said he wants to apply to you. How does he do that?
okay, yeah, this
Yeah,
year's already full. We do have open mic nights, so
you
that he
do?
could, if he has a guitar, he could come and do some songs, no problem. That'll be on both Friday and Saturday. We have open mic times, which will be fun. They had 63 bands, which the bummer is that more than half of those bands played to less than 30 people because you're competing with four other shows at the same time. And
Oh,
me as a former manager, that just didn't seem fair. So we cut it way back. We're taking a quality over quantity approach. So the side stage now is called the launch pad. So we're working with bands that we think are going to be huge by this time next year. and bringing them in from all over the country. But we want them to play to a big audience. And so when they're playing, you're never going to be playing more than 2 bands at a time. And last year it was 4 bands at a time. And so everybody will have a good audience. We wanted to make it to where anybody can go to the shows and absolutely love what they see because they're super quality. We do miss, I mean, the local scene here, there's some wonderful, wonderful people, and we want everybody to be able to play in the coming years. It's just that this year we had to kind of say, okay, we want to get it set that people are gonna, that everybody's gonna have an audience. Because for me to invite a band that has a ton of potential and you really love them and they play in front of 25 or 30 people, that just doesn't seem fair. So by next year, when we start bringing in a lot more of the locals, they'll be able to play in front of at least 300 or 400 and actually, we can really promote them well and do justice to them, making it all the way out to Greenfield and stuff. So my goal is to serve local bands where they get to come in and actually play to a great audience on a great sound system, as opposed to coming in and, playing on a tiny stage with not a lot of people. So, New England is such a great rock and roll area. There's really very, very talented bands here. We just had to say if we can't, we can't do everybody this year. And so work towards that next year. Our lineup is amazing. Like Josiah Queen is on Saturday night. He's just doing incredible. He and Forrest Frank did a tour where they played general market clubs and it had like 3,000 person clubs and did altar calls in them. And it was just so neat to see all these kids, getting to hear about Christ, in these non-traditional venues and stuff. So Josiah's playing on Friday night and We the Kingdom and 10th Avenue North. I mean, we really have a strong lineup. But the best part really will be coming out and making new friends. The music is going to be amazing, but getting to come out, meet wonderful people and have playing games, having fun, sharing meals. It should be an absolute wonderful weekend. The website has a really robust frequently asked questions. It's the soulfest.com. Anytime we get a question, we add it to the frequently asked questions. So if they have questions, the website is thesoulfest.com. And that's where tickets are there and all the bands and everything. So they can find that out there. But
what I really like to know is, tell me about, like, what is one of your fondest memories putting all these bands together? This is an extraordinary experience you've had every year since 1998. I mean, what memory sticks out for you?
I think, Dan would be the better to ask on the putting it together. For me, as someone who's been there as his buddy, it's always the worship to me. I mean, to see that many people singing these wonderful songs together, and because when you have a band, even if it's a huge band like DC Talk or whatever, it's like maybe 70-80% of the people love it. But when you go into, like, that's why this year we have such a big emphasis on worship, because you're going to be in this gorgeous meadow with a really cool lighting package and with people from all around New England. So, and now that you have the words up on the screens, it's so fun to just see everybody, like when to have Matt Maher leading that. I mean, what an honor to get to do that. And so that's been my highlight each year. And then I love watching young people laugh because, this day and age, they're so glued to their phones that they don't even remember the joy of of playing volleyball, or the joy of, we're having a Foursquare tournament, which sounds corny, but kids love it once they start playing. And so I'm really looking forward to just watching young people laugh and old people make friendships and stuff. So, but yeah, I'd have to say the candlelight service worship is probably the highlight of it for me each year. So just such a beautiful moment. And we'll be doing that again on Saturday night.
Okay. Sounds good.
And a 3-day festival.
Mm-hmm.
As 3-day festival, August
14 through 16. Yeah. You guys, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And again, if there's anything we can do to serve you guys, let us know, because we want to learn how to make, we don't know New England. We're not native, but we're so excited to do everything we can to serve it and just have it be one of the funnest weekends of the summer.
Great.
Yes.
God bless you.
We want it to be so organized and fun. But that is a lot of work. So
it is.
So we've both been working 7 days a week trying to get this together, but it's worth it. It's gonna be worth it. So, but thank you guys so much. I'm super grateful.
Yes, thank
God
you.
bless you.
Thank you for all your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Okay, bye.
Matt Mayer, The Lord's Prayer.
Now go. I mean, that's
guess it basically starts with like.
Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us as we forgive the ones who sin against us. Forgive them and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Let your kingdom come. Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us as we forgive the ones who sin against us. Forgive them and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Let your kingdom come. It's yours, all yours, all yours. The kingdom, the power, the glory are yours. It's yours, all yours, forever and ever. The kingdom is yours. It's yours, all yours, the kingdom, the power, the glory are yours. It's yours, all yours, forever and ever. The kingdom is yours. Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. Father, let your kingdom come. Father, let your will be done on earth as in heaven, right here in my heart. On earth as in heaven, right here in my heart.
Thank you for listening to another edition of WQPH's Local Matters. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast and hope you have a blessed week.